Dr. Mark Davey is the District Superintendent for the Champlain Valley Educational Services. You cover 16 school districts throughout Essex, Clinton, Washington, and Warren counties. Many students are heading back to school this week. Some schools are in person 5 days a week. Some are going 2 days a week. Some are learning completely at home, remote learning at home. Is it a mix throughout the 16 school districts?
It is. It is. Our districts all worked very diligently with us all summer to create their opening plans. And in several instances, some of our districts, as you mentioned, have chosen to go remote, to start remotely. A vast majority, we have 3 that are going remote at this time of the 16. The rest are either in person or on a hybrid model. There are several of our school districts who are completely in person full day. And it's really dependent upon the size, and many of our other school districts, for example, even CV Tech, we are in person for part of the week and then hybrid for the other parts of the week. So, and that's what a vast majority of the districts are doing. There is a combination thereof.
Some of the students are going for a couple of days, other students are going for a couple of days. There's, in some districts, Wednesday is a day for cleaning.
Yes.
And a big part of that is that there are too many students to have them all go all the same time and have the social distancing that you need.
That is correct. That is correct. And in some of our smaller districts, they have been able to fit all, and even some of our larger ones have been able to fit all the students in based on that a certain percentage of them are also going remote based upon choice. That was a choice that was provided by each of our school districts and something that the state asked each district to provide a remote option. And that's been followed through on. And it ranges on average between 20 and 30% in general across our BOCES.
Those are parents who want to keep their kids at home, so yes. 20 to 30% are choosing the remote in-house learning.
Correct.
Does that surprise you?
It's very consistent with what the data that's been being gathered all summer. Many of our school districts have been communicating on a regular basis with their parents. They've surveyed them multiple times to determine the pulse and really determine what the feel was in terms of the perceptions of the parents. Of course, with the coronavirus, there's a lot of concerns. There are concerns about coming back. However, I think the due diligence that was occurring and the in-depth plan development really has made a difference.
For the students who are returning, when they come back to the school building, are they getting screened? Are they having their temperatures checked? What's the protocols that they're going through?
Each district is required to have a safety protocol in place to have students' temperatures checked. For example, in our special education division here at CVES, all of our students are screened as they enter the building. At CV Tech, the parents are asked to screen their children at home, their students at home, but we are also doing periodic checks as students are arriving as well. So there are periodic checks during the day. Each district is taking a different approach, but every parent is asked to at least check their students' temperatures before they come to school and to also answer yes to all the safety questions. My child does not have a temperature. My child does not have any symptoms of COVID.
Any of the districts doing in-school testing?
No. The testing is done in partnership with the local health providers. So at this point, the guidance that's been shared with by the state has been that our school districts were working very closely with our health departments to identify if there are students or staff that are exhibiting symptoms. They would then be referred for testing with our medical providers. However, if there are positive results, that information comes to our, as we understand it, the health department, which is then sharing the data with our school districts, which will then be required, and part of our protocol is to communicate that to the state's website, as well as to inform our school communities.
Have any of the districts had any positive tests?
Not that I'm aware of at this point. There are several districts that, out of an abundance of caution, have chosen to go to remote to start with, and I believe there may be some individuals through communication with the health department that are on quarantine at this point, and so there are some individuals throughout our schools. I believe it's a very, very small number who are on quarantine right now, making sure that they're safe before they return to school.
Mask policies. consistent throughout the district at all the schools, or does it vary from school to school?
It does vary, but primarily we all understand that wearing masks is the safest. Our policy is that we wear masks all day. There are mask breaks, but our expectation is that our students and staff will wear masks the entire day. There are the options, and school districts do have the ability to allow students, of course, mask breaks, so both for students and staff, and there is, for example, many times you refer to it as the restaurant policy. While students are eating and they're socially distanced, they could then take their masks off. But the protocols have changed. A lot of the normal procedures of all the students eating in a cafeteria no longer is happening. Many times the students will be eating, and now will be eating in their classrooms. So the dynamics are changing. The classroom enrollment size is changing. So we're all taking those extra steps with our staff to just ensure that we're as safe as possible.
Do the districts have any preset number of cases that if they reach that number, they will look at a different model or may consider remote learning?
So we will be all working with the health department. There is a standard based upon the dashboard that said if the region has a 5% or more infection rate, then schools cannot operate in person. Our rate is very low, and we're fortunate for that, and we hope that will continue by good practices of PPE wearing and so on and so forth.
And you mentioned PPE and cleaning supplies. Do schools have the supplies they need? The PPE, the cleaning supplies, do they have enough laptops to go out to the students for remote learning? Our
school districts have had all summer to prepare for opening, and even as of this morning on a superintendent's conference call, a WebEx, they all indicated that they were in good shape for not only having students return, but also for their sanitation and cleaning supplies and masks and all the items that they needed to ensure our students and staff were safe. They were in a good place for that. We have had several months to prepare. I will say that our school districts and CVES all learned a great deal last spring when we were forced to go remote, and we learned, I believe, our lessons well, but we've also applied all those good lessons to make sure that we're more effective. And we're being more engaging with the students online who are choosing to be at home or as part of the hybrid model. So I think we're in a much better place, and our staff across the region have really stepped forward to provide a more in-person, high-touch approach, but that's virtual. Being in the Adirondacks and being rural, are there school districts that are struggling, though they have students that either don't have accessibility to the internet or can't afford the internet? Are there a number of school districts where they still have a certain percentage of the student body that can't learn at home remotely? There are a number of students across the entire BOCES, which is almost 2,400 square miles. We have approximately 13,500 students in our 16 school districts. And in many districts, they have phenomenal internet access. However, we do know, based upon our geography, there are regions of our BOCES that don't have internet access, or they don't even have cell service. And with that does present a problem. The districts have been taking steps to be able to provide instructional materials, whether it's Wi-Fi hotspots at the schools, it's identifying community agencies that can actually provide free Wi-Fi as well. There are MiFi devices that our districts have been purchasing as well. So they're really being creative. They're putting Wi-Fi on school buses. So they've been really creative to make that work for everyone. Just this week, across the state, the decision was made to put off some fall sports, the higher risk fall sports, football, volleyball, competitive cheerleading, until March. Is that a decision that a number of administrators support? Do they think that was the right move? I think there are a number of superintendents in schools that feel strongly that sports should be allowed, but I would say a majority of them are leaning in the opposite direction because of concerns over not being able to offer in-person instruction or the socially distance and all the guidelines. It is a hot topic across the state. Several sections down on Long Island, for example, have actually said that they will have no sports until January. And we understand that athletics are important to students. We understand to parents. It's a rallying point. It's something where we all love to participate and see our children participate, but we also know we want to keep everyone safe.